Sup squad, I'm back doing another one of these because I'm no reason in particular really, but just I guess a little bit stressed, not really, but I've been my girlfriend's away at the moment and I've been eating like so much chocolate. I feel like I'm like one of those like ladies where like hubby's away and I'm like stress eating, you know. I don't know what happened. I've been kind of spiraling. I've been looking at a lot of porn as well. It's funny, I did a video like a few months ago and it was like, I'm done with porn. And I was like, I'm fucking done. I'm sick of it. Anyway, since then I've looked at so much porn. So I'm obviously not done with porn. And my girlfriend does too, you know. We both kind of have a problem with it. And I think whenever one of us starts to sense that the other one is having a bad time with it, we see that as a green light, like, oh, okay, well, he's looking at it, so I can, or she's looking at it, so I can, and it's like a vicious circle. It's rough. Anyway, she went away today. I was like, wang, 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 wang. It always happens, and I don't know, it's hard to describe. Like, I can't even be bothered if I just do it anyway. Not, well, for a while I wasn't, for quite a long time I wasn't, but, yeah, I started again. Anyway, doing that, and then afterwards, I had dinner. I've eaten a lot today. I'm supposed to be, like, cutting weight, you know? I've been eating a lot. And then, after dinner, I was like, I'm going to the fucking shop and getting some chocolate. And I went and bought, like, an Oreo ice cream thing. It was like a large, it was like an ice cream sandwich, but with Oreos. Not with Oreos, but I don't know, it was nice anyway, it was really nice. Had one of those, had a big bar of Nestle chocolate, and there's a chocolate ice cream in the freezer that I'm thinking of having. I don't know what's happened to me. A couple of months ago, I wasn't eating any sugar, I wasn't eating any junk food, I wasn't looking at porn, I was all healthy, and I've started lately, I don't know what's going on with me. To be honest with you, I've been thinking about like taking hard drugs again as well. And I don't know why, really. I don't know what's brought it on. I think because I started getting up earlier recently. Careful for the camera. Okay, go over there, lie down. Lie down in your bed, good. Shoot. So I've got this big tripod here and I don't want her to knock it over. I think what's happened is I had to get up really early for work a while back. I had to get up at like, well, not really early, 7:30. I normally get up at like 9:30. And so does my girlfriend, and we just like start work straight away. We just wake up, get out of bed, go to work. It's ridiculous, really. And I had to get up at 7:30 for something. And then I was like, fuck it. It's ridiculous getting up so late all the time. I'm just going to get up at this time from now on. And since then, I've been like kind of fucked up, to be honest. Like, and I always had it in my head, like, you know, because there's all these people, these like grind hustle people who are like, you know, I get up at 4 a.m, I don't fucking sleep. And I've always thought that's like so dumb. And I am definitely someone who needs to sleep well, or I start to like, I know it sounds like, particularly in this day and age, a bit of a cliche, but like I really do have to like manage my mental health. Like I'm pretty normal and level-headed when everything is perfect, and if things start to go a bit wrong, or I don't look after myself, I start to go pretty nuts. And so I have to sleep well. But then I started thinking, oh, fuck it, like, maybe I don't, maybe I can function on less sleep, you know, because I've got to make things happen in my life, I've got to do things, I can't just be Because, like, I take naps all the time, I sleep for a really long time, I try to rest really well. If I'm tired, I just take a nap. And sometimes I feel, oh, this is a bit, like, weak or something, isn't it? So I thought, yeah, I'll just start getting up early. And I haven't slept well for weeks because of it. And I think, when you don't sleep well, your impulse control is really bad. So you want to go on the internet all the time, you want to look at porn, you want to eat junk food, you want to just, like, do easy, boring shit. Because your brain just wants that, quick, simple reward. Because it's too tired to engage in delayed gratification. So I think that's what's been happening. And for some reason, the last, 2 weeks, I've been like, man, I want to fucking get some speed or some, methadone or something. I don't know why. I haven't wanted to touch any of that stuff in so long. And lately I've been having this thought, like I can't shake it. I don't know why. I feel like, I guess maybe I'm bored, or I think because we've sort of, me and my girlfriend, she's really my wife. We're in the process of getting married. It's ridiculous to keep calling her my girlfriend. We've been together for so long, but she is technically my girlfriend. But anyway, I don't want to say partner because that sounds like a euphemism for man, for boyfriend. Whenever someone says partner, I'm like, okay, okay, just using the word partner for some reason. But yeah, we've settled into middle age really early, and we keep talking about ourselves like we're really old, and we're like, yeah, we can't do this and that anymore, our life's different now. And in a way, our life is much nicer and much better, and we're way more calm and sane, and there's way less problems. But it's also at times a bit boring. We don't really have any mates. We did have some mates, but this Christian couple, and it got a bit weird. We don't really speak to them anymore. And yeah, it got kind of annoying with them. The bloke's alright, but his wife is pretty annoying, and kept trying to get us to come and help out at the church. And I was like, we'll help you, I would love to help them with something. I don't want to help your church. I don't want to. It's nothing to do with me, And it started to get a bit weird. She was fucking annoying. She was a proper wet blanket. This woman. Whenever we'd go anywhere, I was like, oh, she can't walk this far. And it's like, you're a young woman. You're 27, and what's wrong with you? You're just walking down the road, and she'd be like, I'll sit here and wait for you guys. It's like, what's the fucking matter with you? She's always complaining, always had a problem with everything, always talking shit about him to us, in front of him, when you're with someone and they start shit talking their partner to you, and you're like, whoa, what are you doing? Why are you disrespecting your partner in front of everyone? Do that behind closed doors. Anyway, fuck was I saying? Yeah, we don't really have any mates. And there's a level of it's tranquil and nice, I would say, but boring. And where we live is really quiet, and the nicer you become, the more of a nice, normal, well-rounded, healthy person you become. In a way, the more boring you become, And I don't know what's wrong with me, but yeah, I just start thinking, oh, it'd be nice to be fun to do some of that stuff again. And I don't know, I don't think it's not like heroin or something. It's not like I'm like, oh, I'm going to start using smack again. And I'd like to think I'm an adult who's got some relative level of control over my life. I don't think I'm going to suddenly spiral into some insane, uncontrollable 24/7 addiction. I'm not. But things can sneak up on you in weird ways, psychologically. I'm aware of that. And I'm a bit superstitious about all of it now. I feel like it's sort of there's consequences for your actions, and if you go down the wrong path, bad things might happen to you. I have a sort of quasi-religious sort of fear of it, I guess. And I don't know, in a way, sometimes to be honest, like, I don't know, quite a lot of bad stuff happens that feels sometimes quite unfair. And maybe I'm a bit sort of bitter and resentful as well about some stuff that's gone on in my family recently and in life, where I think, like, I sometimes feel like, oh well, you know, even when you do the right thing, and things happen, bad things happen, and so maybe you don't need to do the right thing, you know, maybe it's okay to fucking, like, do drugs and fucking whatever, you know. I don't know, it's a kind of a childish attitude, but anyway, I've been thinking about that. So yeah, I've been like, today, I don't know, I've just been like manically fucking eating chocolate and like puddings and stuff, like a sort of fat, you know, wife whose hubby is away. She can't handle being on her own. Maybe hubby's dead, you know, and she's so good, her nerves can't take it, so she just comfort eats, and she's like really fat, and that's a disability, which is just being fat. She's like, my knee doesn't work. It's like, that's because you're fat. I'm turning into one of those women, basically. I'm like a fake, self-induced fat disability. Just eating chocky all day. Yeah, one time I was watching this documentary about like the fattest town in Britain or something. I think it was in Wales. And this woman was huge. And she was like, yeah, I was doing alright, I was losing weight, and then my mum died of an heart attack. So what am I supposed to do? Not be obese? I don't know. But she had kids as well. So then my mum died of an heart attack. So what am I supposed to do? So ignorant and stupid. Like, there's plenty of people whose mums die and they don't eat themselves into morbid obesity. Ridiculous. Anyway, yeah. I could though, man. Jesus. There is a fucking fat guy inside me waiting to get out. If I wanted to be. I could never be like huge. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how much you have to eat to get that big. But I could definitely be very fat if I let myself go. Fucking love food, man. But yeah, today I was out. I went to feed this cat. I saw this stray cat on the way home, and whenever I'm out with the dog, I see this cat, and my girlfriend's always like, oh, we should, you know, my partner's always like, oh, we should, you know, help him. I'm like, we're with the dog, I'm not going to bring the dog over to this mangy, filthy cat. And so, you know, we just leave. He's like this sort of Dickensian cat, you know. And I saw him today. I think this was after like my third wank of the day, and I was like strolling through town eating chocolate bars and stuff. I was like, what am I? What a fucking loser. And I saw the cat, and I was like, oh, poor fella, you know. And he seems to have moved into the porch of this abandoned house. Of this abandoned house. And like someone had put a little box with a blanket for him and a bit of food, and I was like, oh, I'll get him some milk. And I went and I got a plastic tub, and some milk and a bottle of water, and I went and I poured the milk in, and I gave him some water as well in the milk. And I thought that'll be good, that'll hydrate him, you know. And as I was doing it, I remembered my girlfriend saying to me that like milk isn't really that good for cats. And And then I was like, oh shit, well, fuck it. I'm sure it can't be that bad, or they wouldn't say it all the time and do it in cartoons. Because that's how you should live your life, you know? Before you make a decision, you go, do they do this in cartoons? Okay, let's do it then. Yeah, I saw this in Mickey Mouse, so it should be fine, because Mickey Mouse does it. Yeah, so I gave him the milk, and then I went home and I've sent a video of it to my girlfriend. I was like, oh look, he's drinking the milk, and she was like, cats shouldn't have cow's milk. And I googled it, and it said half of cats are lactose intolerant, and milk might give them diarrhea. Milk might give them diarrhea. So I was like, oh fuck. So I thought, right, I'll go back there, and I'll try and like take some of the milk away and put some more water in or something. I went back there, and he was like it looked like he was being quite defensive over the milk, and I thought, I'm not going to get into it with a mangy cat today. Would you shut up, Luna? I thought, I'm not going to get into it with a mangy cat today. Don't knock the tripod over. Yeah, you stay there. Okay, good girl. So I'm just gonna, I can't fight him for the milk, and I don't want to like go over when he's, you know, protecting his now, you know, beloved milk stash. I don't think he was being offensive. I didn't want to take the chance with a cat that looked so mangy and ill. And then I thought, oh fuck it, I'll just leave the milk. And then I went and I thought, I'll give him some water, so if he gets diarrhea, because some cats get diarrhea from milk, and I thought, he's so like tattered already and ill, I don't want him to get diarrhea, because it could finish him off. And I kept thinking about him having diarrhea, and I was like, oh, I've got to figure out a way to do this. So I went back there, and by this time I'm like in and out of the apartment, you know. And I went back, and I gave him some water in a separate pot, and then I was like, that's enough, he's got water. If he gets diarrhea, he won't die. And then I was telling my girlfriend about this, and she was like, no, you can't leave the milk there overnight. And I was like, yeah, you fucking can. And then I googled it, and I was like, you can't leave the milk there overnight. Oh, I thought animals were a bit, you know, more hardy than this, like a street cat, you know. I thought people leave milk out all the time. Like I said, I saw it in Mickey Mouse, or something, you know, something Mickey Mouse adjacent. So, you know, just give the cat some milk, fuck it. That was what I thought. But no. So, all these cartoons have, like, misled me. So I then had to go back and get the milk from the little fucker. So I'd already given him sardines and milk, and then I went back with a tin of tuna to serve as like a decoy, and I brought a broom so I could push the tuna over to him and then pull the milk away. I did that. I took the tray of milk away and just chucked it. And I left him with a big old tray of water, so he's got water now if he wants it, and he's had his sardines, he's had his tuna fish. He's been pretty well fed tonight. I might see if there's any vitamins that are good for a cat, and like put some in his food, you know, because he doesn't look too well. So anyway, I was on my way back from doing all that, and there's these two Dobermans that live in our area, and they're like really nuts. They always look really out of control, and we avoid them like the plague. And we saw, there's this other guy we know who has a small dog, and he, one time he said, oh, I'm avoiding those Dobermans over there because they're crazy. And we were like, yeah. And I think that kind of validated it to us, like, yeah, the Dobermans are fucking crazy, we're in this together, eh, pal? And because him and his dog were avoiding them too. So we've got it into our heads now, like, these Dobermans are bad, and everyone agrees. It's the whole town against these fucking Dobermans. And the other day, there were these people with their little dog, and they were walking towards the Dobermans, and they had a really small dog off lead. And I was like, about to warn them about the Dobermans, because they were walking right over to them. And the Dobermans are nuts, you know, they're like really aggressive. And their dog was tiny. And then I thought, nah, I'll leave it, like, it's not my business. And then my girlfriend was like, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I was going to warn them about the Dobermans. And she was like, maybe you should. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. So I went over and I tried to talk to them, but it came out really weirdly. I was like, for some reason I started, it was in Spanish, but for some reason I started by asking them, do you live here? So I like came up behind them, and I was about 5 meters away. And I was like, excuse me. They're like, yeah. I was like, do you live here? And already they're thinking, who the fuck is this? They were proper douchebags though. Like, the guy had a, you know, like the kind of hats that like Pharrell or Bruno Mars would wear? Yeah, it was like tattoo sleeves, and the woman had always like lip filler and shit, and they looked like sort of like reggaeton people or something. They were fucking horrible. And dressed like fucking douchebags, like they looked like Instagram people, you know. And they were looking at me like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, I was just... And I started stumbling over my words and getting all confused, because I realised I'd approached them in a really strange way, and I shouldn't have bothered. I was regretting it. And I tried to explain. I said, be careful of those Dobermans over there, because your dog's going over to them. And they were like, eh. And then they walked off and carried on towards the Dobermans, and I thought, God, I hope they don't know the owner of the Dobermans, because they're going to say this weird dickhead is fucking going around talking shit about your dogs to anyone who'll listen. And anyway, today I was coming home from dealing with this cat, and I saw the bloke with the 2 Dobermans on the bench outside our building, and I was like, huh, sitting outside our building, is he? And I thought, well, this better be a one-off. This better not be his regular sitting place now. He's not going to be coming here with these dogs, you know. I was getting all neighbourhood watch about it. And I carried on, and I walked past. And then he went into the building. He got up and went into the building with the dogs. And I was really confused, because I've lived in this building for months, and he doesn't live here. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why are the Dobermans going into our building? Has he moved in now? And the worst part was, our neighbour is leaving. And I was like, fuck, are those 2 Dobermans moving in next door? Because, like, with Luna, our dog, it's already a nightmare bringing her on the floors. She, like, slips everywhere and stuff, because she's, like, scared of tiles because she had an injury. And she's very high maintenance, and it's just all... And we have to go in the lift every time, and, oh, it's awful. And I was thinking, oh God, have they moved in? You know, we're going to have to move. I'm not living next door to the 2 Dobermans. They're huge Dobermans as well, like full-size Dobermans. Anyway, I left and I came back, and then I saw this guy who lives in the building, because there's only like 2 other people who live in the building year round. And I saw one of them, and he's a nice bloke. He's like an older bloke who smokes a lot of weed, and he's like quite mad, you know. And someone's like friendly in a way, they're a bit mad. They're like really like big eyes, and he's always stoned, and like he's very friendly, but in quite a manic way. But I like him. And I saw him, and I was like, I said, I saw these 2 Dobermans go into the building, and I said, do you know, like, do they live here? Because I've never seen them in the building before. And he was like, yeah, it's my friend. He's gotten divorced, so he's moving in with me for a few weeks. And I was like, oh God. And he was like really being really friendly, like really smiley, this bloke. And he's like, they're the nicest dogs ever. Don't worry, they're like golden retrievers. They're not like Dobermans. They're the nicest dogs. And I was thinking, I've fucking seen them. They're not nice, but whatever. But I was just trying to be friendly, and I just wanted to get out of the conversation. And then I saw the guy who owns the dogs, the Dobermans, was like on his bicycle, like cycling around us. And he'd obviously caught wind of what we were talking about. and he wanted to like get involved, you know, and have an argument about it. And I was thinking, oh, here we fucking go. I wanted the guy to shut up, you know, because I was like, all right, I get it. They live here now for a bit. I just want to leave. I don't want to get into a thing about it. But the owner obviously heard, and he came over to talk to us about it. And the stoner guy who lives in the building, he started explaining to the owner of the Dobermans. He was like, oh, he's just worried because he has a dog in the building. And I said, yeah. And he said, I said, yeah, it's just because our dog, I said, our dog had an injury, and she, you know, like she slips on floors a lot. She's quite nervous around big dogs. And I just don't, you know, I just want to know what's going on in the building, you know, because we get in the lift all the time. So if the dogs are going to be in the lift, it's going to be super awkward. Like if he's coming into the lift with his two crazy dogs while we're in the lift, and it's a really small lift, and all of this shit, you know. And I'm not happy about it at all, really. But anyway, I was telling him this, and I was saying, you know, she slips, and like I was just trying to figure out what's going on, you know. And she's a bit scared of other dogs. And then I just said, you know, because of this, I just worried a bit. And he went, he ignored everything else I said, and he went, he's like wheeling back and forth on his bike like a 12-year-old boy, you know, on his little bicycle. A grown man, this is, you know, like hanging out on his bicycle at night. And he's like, he goes, why do you worry? Why do you worry? It's because of the breed. And I was like, well, not just that, but yeah, you know, they're Dobermans, so they're like a tougher dog. And he was like, he's like, movies have done a lot of damage to people's minds. I was like, fuck. So rude, man. Like, you know, like, what kind of way is that to speak to someone? It really pissed me off. I was thinking, movies, what are you talking about, you dick? Like, it's nothing to do with it. I've never seen a Doberman in a movie. I don't know what you're on about, you know. There's no Dobermans in Mickey Mouse, first of all. So if they're not in Mickey Mouse, I don't want them in my building. No, but it really pissed me off. I thought, what an idiot. No, it's not because I've seen movies. It's because I'm not a fucking moron and I understand dogs. And I don't think Dobermans aren't particularly bad dogs or anything, but they're capable of causing a lot of damage. They're guard dogs. They're bred to be vigilant. They're bred to be tough. They're used by the police for a reason. You know, they're not a joke. They're a serious dog. And moreover, they're going to be in like confined spaces with my dog, and there's two of them, and it's a new environment for them, and it's a new situation for my dog. It's something you've got to be thinking about. And he immediately gets on the defensive, and there's a common problem with these morons who have like shitty dogs, that they want a tough dog, like a pit bull or something, because they're like that it's tough. But then when other people react in the way that they actually do want people to react, they like to cry about it and get defensive, and they're like, everyone judges my dog. And it's like, you only got the dog because you're a pussy and you want to look hard. That's the only reason you have the dog. So don't cry when people think the dog is scary. And I think Dobermans are good dogs. I mean, they're trainable and everything, but I don't trust a moron like that to do it. And he said, you can train any breed to do anything, which, first of all, is bollocks. There's a reason they don't use pit bulls for the police, for example, nor chihuahuas. Lots of different dogs have different qualities, and if you think otherwise, you're a fucking idiot and you shouldn't own one, to be perfectly honest, because different breeds are completely different. And anyway, he's one of those, like, it's not the dog, it's the owner. It's like, well, why do you have two Dobermans then? If there's nothing special about them, and they're not different, why do you have them? You know, it's just idiotic. It's just a moron. And he starts going and saying all this shit. I'm thinking, I don't want to sit here and have this fucking dumb conversation with you about dog prejudice. Like, I'm not interested. So I was like, I try not to argue, because I thought I really wanted to be like, you're a fucking moron, mate. Like, you don't have a clue what you're talking about. But I was just like, sort of trying to get the last word a little bit, but then get out of it, because like, I thought it's better I don't create a hostile situation between me and him. And yeah, I spoke to my girlfriend about it afterwards, and she said, yeah, maybe you should try and just like suck up to him a bit, to like, just because he's only going to be here for a couple of months or something, and just like, it's better that we just have a safe situation with the dogs, and we can like, you know, ask him like not to bring them in the lift or whatever without it being an argument. And I might have to do that, and it's something I'm trying to work on, like, because I don't like it when someone's like an idiot or they're wrong, but it shouldn't matter. What really matters is my dog's safety, and you have to be able to cooperate with people even when they're morons. And I mean, the bloke's going through a divorce, so maybe he just was looking to pick a fight, you know, but it's difficult. I remember, like, my dad always tried to be what he would call like diplomatic with everyone, you know, like not within the family. It's a fucking arsehole within the family, but outside the family he's very reasonable and, like, you know, nice man. And he's not, I'm joking, I didn't mean, you know, whatever, I'm just joking about him, but I mean, listen, I was joking when I said he's an arsehole, not when I said he was nice. I'm joking, he's not nice. No, he's fine. Anyway, he would always try and be diplomatic with people. And my parents, when they bought their first place, the place I grew up in, they had we had this dickhead family next door, like real dickheads, just fucking rotten fucking morons. Awful people. And my dad always was like nice to the bloke and tried to be fair and friendly and be on good terms with him. And my mum is more the type to be like kind of there's a certain point where she'll just be like, go fuck yourself, you know. And she's quite like tough, I guess. And like, my dad's from like a kind of posh background, and my mum is from a like extremely poor part of Ireland, and quite a working class background. And she's quite if she doesn't like someone, she's not afraid to show it, kind of, you know. And I think both those ways of being have value. I think you have to know, you have to be capable of adjusting. You shouldn't lean too far into one or the other. She probably goes too far that way, and my dad, I think, goes too far the other way sometimes. Like, I think he's let people take the piss a little bit, and sometimes it's good for your own soul and your own spirit to be like, hey, eat a dick, you know, to like whoever. And I don't think you've always got to be like diplomatic. But he always was with this neighbour, and he tried to avoid arguments, and I think my mum kind of took that as him being like kind of a pussy. But everyone always tells me the opposite, like I should argue with people less and stuff. I get into it, not as much these days, but I do get into quite a lot of like conflicts and arguments with people, and I don't like it. It's kind of stressful. But at the same time, to go and be nice to this moron who spoke to me like that with the Dobermans, it's going to be hard. I think, like, in the middle, firm but fair, you know. When I see him, I'll be like, look, pal, you know, like, I've no prejudice against Dobermans. I like them. I like all dogs. I'm just trying to protect my dog and be realistic about the fact that there's 2 new dogs in the building, and, you know, you have to have some common sense and whatever. Yeah, if anything, like, kind of patronise him a bit, I guess. That's because if I try to like fight back and be like, no, what are you saying? I didn't learn it from movies, you know, what the fuck? Then I immediately turn it into like a squabble between me and him. And if I go and kiss his ass, he's a fucking bellend. So he's not gonna be considerate. He's obviously not a considerate person. Like, I was saying all this shit about our dog's injury, and all he cares about is like, is someone judging Dobermans unfairly? And like, you know, he's obviously a dickhead. Like, doesn't care about, you know, the normal grown-up thing when you're a grown man who doesn't like fucking ride a bicycle around at night is, and I don't mean bike riding like cycling, I mean like circling around the pavements like you're 12 years old smoking a cigarette. Anyway, the normal response, even if you're annoyed, like if someone was worried about my dog, if they had a cat in the building, I might not like it if I heard them saying it, but my first response would 100% be like, don't worry about her, like I'll always have her on a lead, I'll make sure she doesn't go near the cats, and she's fine, you know, I won't allow her to be aggressive towards a cat. I've got the situation under control. I'm not going to go like, why do you think dogs attack cats? What's wrong with you? Have you seen too many movies? Like, it's just so annoying and immature. And, yeah, pissed me off. But, so I can't take my dad's approach, but I can't exactly take my mum's approach either. I think I have to, like, be in the middle and kind of put the figurative hand on his shoulder, as in like, let me tell you what's what, you know. I think with someone like that is the right approach, because yeah, there's not really anything else. So yeah, don't know how to navigate that. I'm worried that he'll press the lift one day to take his dogs down, and we'll be in the lift and the doors will just open and the dogs will all be there, but I'll just stand in between. But it's fucking annoying. Of all the people that could have moved in, you know. Anyway, yeah, that's all. So that's probably why I've been fucking eating chocolate all day. I'm still thinking about that ice cream in the freezer, to be honest, but it's a bit like when I had my third wank of the day, when I was like, I don't even want to do this. Like, I don't even want this. I've just decided I should. I've decided, like, I'm going to have it. I don't even really want the ice cream, is what I'm saying. Like, but I'm like, oh, there's a chocolate ice cream in the freezer. I've already eaten a lot of chocolate today. I might as well have the chocolate ice cream, which is really dumb. But, yeah. So, yeah, what time are we at on this? 37 minutes, yeah. Yeah, I've been doing a bit of Muay Thai. It's alright, like, but, man, sometimes it's complicated. And, like, we do it in a gym, and there's, like, really loud music on. Like, I can't fucking hear shit. And the coach is just like, it'll just be like, and I think even the Spanish speakers are like, what the fuck's he saying? Like, all you can hear is like dance music. The other day they had that song on at the gym, that, you know, that one that's like, touch me and then just touch me, or whatever it is, you know, so I can get my satisfaction. And it was just fucking awkward. Like, there's always music like that playing, like reggaeton, like techno remixes, and I can't hear a fucking word this bloke's saying. Anyway, when we're just on the pads, it's alright. Like, I'm quite good on the pads. Not good at holding them, but I'm just quite good at, like, you know, boxing and stuff. Not like good compared to someone who actually does boxing, but I'm okay with that, you know. But then we were doing yesterday, like, clinches and grapples, and the guy I was paired with, it's a bit awkward between me and him. I don't know why. We're both quite, like, sort of introverted, slightly awkward guys, and sometimes it, like, multiplies the awkwardness, you know. Like, there's another guy there who's like a really wacky character, and he's really extrovert. I think he's autistic, and he's like really high energy, and it kind of brings me up as well, you know. And it brings you out of yourself, and to me it's quite easy to be around someone like that. But sometimes if there's someone who's a bit quiet, I become very quiet. I sort of like match them. And me and this bloke have this super awkward energy, and we're both quite short, you know, we're both kind of like short, quiet guys. And it's a very odd, like kind of guarded energy. And there's not gay tension, but if you were an outside observer, you might perceive it as gay tension. Do you know what I mean? And there's tension. I think there's tension about the fact that about the idea that there might be gay tension. There is no gay tension, as I'm not gay, and as far as I know, he's not gay. So there's no gay tension. But there's like, you know, sometimes like some men will understand this, like particularly in the West, I've seen in other countries, or not just in the West, but like in some countries, men are like hugging each other and slapping their backs, and like, you know, even in Arab countries they hold hands, for Christ's sake, but they'll like have their shirts off and they're like touching each other and stuff, and it's not a big deal. But in the culture I grew up in, it was like, don't fucking touch me, bro. You know, we never touched each other. Like, I never hugged my mates, and if someone touched you, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you touching me? And so there's always like, in other countries I've noticed, they're like, I'm not fucking gay, so what do I have to be worried about? Whereas in like in the sort of environment I grew up in, it was more like, I'm not gay, I'm not gay, I'm not gay, I'm not gay. You know, it was like nervously, constantly having to reaffirm that you're not gay. Anyway, so maybe it's in my head, but I feel there's like, it's just a bit awkward. And when you're like hitting the pads, it's fine, but when you have to start like doing this to each other and like pulling each other in, and the reason it's awkward is because you're not doing it hard, you're just doing it in training. So there's this song on, it's like, so I can get my satisfaction, touch me, and I'm like sort of gently grabbing his neck and like pulling him in, and he's like, and then like twisting me around and stuff, and I'm like pulling him towards me, and I have to keep doing this, like putting one hand on his neck, and it keeps making this like awkward slapping sound, and I'm not doing it really hard and like grabbing him, because I'm practicing, so I'm kind of like, and we're sort of like breathing and stuff, and like staring at each other, and it's super weird, and neither of us are like extroverted or confident enough to sort of break the ice. And then I started getting in my head, and then I was fucking everything up. Like, it was really confusing what the coach was asking us to do, because he gave us 2 variants, and he was like, do both, and it was like, can you just give us one? Like, and it was already really complicated, and as soon as you're learning it, you're just about getting to grips with it. He's like, right, now here's another variant of it, and then he's like, then switch sides, and it's like, man, let us get used to it. And no one was doing it properly, and he kept changing it. He's a good coach, but like sometimes it's too much, there's too many instructions going on, and I was fucking it up big time. And this guy I was partnered with, he had to keep explaining it to me, and he had to keep like telling me to like touch his neck and stuff, like instructing me like where to touch him, and then the song's like, touch me and then just push me, you know, so I can get my satisfaction. And I'm like, and he's like, here, and I'm like, I really hated it. And the whole session I was like, are we gonna fucking go on the pads today? I want to fucking throw some punches, man, some kicks or something. And we didn't. We just did that all day. It's this weird fucking Brokeback Mountain tension going on. And again, I repeat, certainly on my part, it's not real sexual tension. It's the illusion of it which makes me feel embarrassed and insecure. So, yeah, apart from that, mostly it's good. The other thing is that the class is like all ages. So they have like a kids group on a different day. And I was like, well, I'm not going to the kids one, obviously. And like when a few years ago, I guess it was like 8 years ago, I got ID'd when I was buying alcohol, and I went, I don't remember exactly how I did it. I looked at the woman behind the desk at the till, and I went and pointed to my bald head, and she was like, okay, and let me have the alcohol. And yeah, that's the same here, you know, with regards to going to the kids group. And Oh, I mean, you don't need to be bald to not go to a fucking kids Muay Thai class anyway. But whatever the case, I assumed, okay, the kids will all be there. I'll go to the normal one where there will be no kids. Anyway, it's like mixed. So there's adults. There's not tiny kids. There's no like 8-year-olds or anything there. That would be insane. But there's some pretty young kids, and some of them I can't tell. I'm like, is that like a 12-year-old or a really small 16-year-old? I don't know. But when I first got there, I was like, I'm not really happy about this, to be honest. I thought I was going to train with like other men, and like, yeah, it was pretty awkward. And then, and like, there's a lot of like, yeah, like there's like little kids, and then there'll be like big old like fat middle-aged women, and like nothing against them, but it's a bit like they're just trying to get out of the house, you know. And when I first got there, I was like, what the fuck? I felt like really embarrassed because it's in a gym, and there's all these like sexy people like doing their workouts in the gym, and then I'm there in this group of like these little girls and stuff, and I was like, man, this is so embarrassing. Like all these people in the gym are looking at me, and it's like I'm just here and doing some weird group workout with these little girls. I was like a fucking idiot. And then they would, because sometimes to warm up, you do like exercise, you jog in a circle, and sometimes we do little games, and like, you know, different amounts of people show up in different weeks. So sometimes there's more adults, and then sometimes there's not as many adults. So if you go on a week when there's like not many adults, and then they've got you warming up playing tag, it's like I'm literally playing tag with little girls, like in a gym. All these like women working on their glutes and like looking over their shoulder, like, why is this bald man playing tag with children in the middle of the gym? And I found it quite a struggle to overcome the embarrassment, you know. But it's fine, because then we start every time I'm like, oh my god, I think this is gonna be my last class. And then we start training, we get on the pads, and I'm like, cool, no, this is good, I like this. And I'm always paired up with a guy. My biggest fear is that one day there won't be any other men there, and I'll have to get paired up with like a little girl. I don't think that could happen. I don't think they'll allow that. I think I would just train with the coach if that happened or something. I don't know. It can't be allowed to happen. I think I would just say no. Like, I'll just hold the pads for her. I'm not punching pads while a little girl holds them. I'll pretend I'm a coach. So if any of these people see me, I'll have like a coach energy, you know? I'll be like, muy bien, que guay, vamos, vamos. I'll start acting like I'm a sort of fun, exuberant coach, because, yeah, man, I'm not having a fucking training partner with like a little girl, you know? There was one as well where we had to like tag each other, and there's been a few times we've done some variant on tag, but we were doing it the other day at the end, and I was like really fucking sweaty, and this bloke, the Brokeback Mountain guy, God forbid he ever heard me refer to him as that. It would make things even more awkward between me and him. But he had to keep touching my back. I was like, does it have to be my back? Like, can't it be my shoulder or something? My back is so fucking sweaty, man, and I was drenched. And I went in between when he was telling us to get ready to do this game at the end as like a warm down. I went over to my bag and got a bandana and was like trying to wipe all my sweat off, and everyone was looking at me like, what the fuck's up with this weird English guy? Why is he so sweaty? Why has he stopped to go and wipe his sweat while the coach is talking to us? And really, I think the gesture was very clear. It was like, we're going to be touching each other's backs, and mine's like covered in sweat, like soaked, so I'm doing this for you. And so I did. Hang on, I'm going to pause and restart this. Oh, that was a bit weird. Yeah, I paused it because the video it lags if it's too long and it's hard to transfer the file. But yeah, so it's like, you know, he saw me going over and being like, time to wipe all my sweat before you touch me. Don't worry, I've wiped it up. I'm still soaked though. It was kind of awkward. And yeah, there was one where we were put into groups of 4, and it was me and the Brokeback Mountain guy, and 2 little girls, and we had to like go around in a square. And at times like that, I just like really don't want to be there. You know, I'm like, this is really not what I signed up for. But it's usually very short-lived, and then we get on with training. And when we're training, it's like really good, you know, a lot of the time. And the coach knows what he's doing. It's kind of crazy with the coach. He's small, he's shorter than me, and he's not big. But when he shows you something, you're like, oh yeah, this guy could fucking kill me. Like, when he's just showing you a move, he's just like moving around everywhere. You're like, what the fuck? And he's just able to like put so much force into such small movements, just with the precision he uses, you know? It's kind of amazing to see like what like just years of practice can do. Just throwing a punch, but not even hard. And it's like so much more powerful, just the way he does it. It's hard to describe, but it's crazy. You can feel it. Like, he'll show a move and he'll like pull your arm down, and you're like, whoop, I'm over here now. And then he'll go to like knee you or something, and you're like, oh yeah, like there'd be nothing I could really do about that. And it's kind of a crazy feeling. But then everyone else there, I feel like I could probably beat up anyone there, to be honest. Like, apart from him, he would batter me. The coach would batter me for sure. But everyone else there, there's no one hard there, to be honest. Like, and I kind of like that in a way. There's another gym that looks a lot more serious. Like, people who train there, they do actual fights and stuff. And I feel that would go too far the other way for me, where like the people would be too tough. And I'd find the whole because especially because like, my Spanish is like okay, but it can be difficult. Luna, can you shut up? I would probably find that. I'm gonna bring the air conditioning on actually, because it's. Touch me and just push me. So weird, man. Fucking hate that song. What a horrible, stupid, disgusting song. Yeah, the other gym, it looks a bit like tougher, and there's all these images of people like doing professional fights, and I feel that's the kind of place I'd go, and they'd be like slapping me on the head and like telling me I'm not doing it properly, and I'd be getting all embarrassed and weird and coming home all nervous. I feel like I need to get used to the language and the moves and everything before I go there. So for now, I'm with the fucking kiddies and the pussy holes, you know. But yeah, there's like, for example, there's this girl there who helps the coach out a lot. She's kind of like the coach's assistant. I think she's just a student. I don't think, like, she just goes there. She's just not a student. Yeah, a student. But I don't think she actually works there, but he always uses her for the demonstrations. And she's been going there since she was a little girl, so she's been doing it for like 10 years or whatever, I don't know. And her technique is like really good. She always knows exactly what to do, and when she's holding the pads for the coach, she's very like, you know, he always chooses her for that reason, because she knows exactly what she's doing. And yet, still, I just feel like I can just batter her like easily. And it's from that point of view, it's kind of like I think there are women that could probably beat me up, like women in the UFC and stuff, like there's some proper big like roided up women out there, and I think you have to be able to admit that to yourself. You know, there are quite a lot of men above a certain size and level of strength and toughness where there are no women who could beat them up, but I think most men, there are some women in the world who could beat you up realistically. Like, if you're like over 6 foot and you go to the gym a lot and you're heavy and you know how to fight, then yeah, there's no women that could beat you up. But if you're a normal bloke, like, there's definitely women who could beat you up, because there's women who are like 6'4" and like massive, you know, like heavyweight fighters and stuff, and they train and they've been training their entire lives. There's not really any shame in it, you know. There are definitely women who could beat up the average man, but most of them, it's extremely rare, basically. Like, there are very, very few women who could beat me up. And yeah, this one is not one of them. Even with, you know, probably like a decade of training and all the technique down and everything, so it's kind of interesting from both ends of the spectrum. Like, there's such a broad spectrum, I guess. Like, because you look at like the coach, for example. Like, I'm a bit bigger than him. I'm sure I can probably do more strength training than him. Like, probably lift heavier stuff. And in some contexts, I'm like stronger, certainly heavier. But he could definitely batter me, like easily batter me. I know that for sure. Like, I would have no chance. And then with this lady, like, she would have no chance. But anyway, yeah, I digress. I feel like I could probably beat up anyone there except the coach. And it shouldn't really be that way at like a martial arts class, you know. You should definitely not immediately be the toughest person in the group. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, I'm kind of 90% certain that, to be fair, there are some people who aren't there at the moment, but they were there when I first went, and I think they've taken the summer off. There were some guys, like, I don't remember what they were like, maybe they could beat me up, I don't know. But generally speaking, most weeks when I go there, I think, like, man, I could fucking take everyone here. Not that you're supposed to think that, particularly when you go into a group where it's like loads of like little kids there and stuff, and I'm looking around like, yeah, I could fucking take all these people. You alright, Luna? What's the matter with you? Yeah, that's what I do. I rock up, I see all the little kids, and I'm like, yeah, alright, yeah. Who fucking wants it then, eh? Hey, come on, fucking come on then, you little cunts. Yeah, I get really drunk. I go there, just fucking take my shirt off and drink a beer. No, yeah. So I feel if I went to the other class, it would be the opposite. Like, everyone there would be able to beat me up, I think. And for now, I'm comfortable being, you know, like, I'm not a big fish in a small pond because my technique is shit anyway, but you know what I mean. Yeah. I'd rather feel like a bit of a doofus than like the biggest pussy on planet Earth for now. So I'll keep training here for a while, then after a while I'll be like, yeah, time to upgrade and go to the more serious one. But it's difficult, like stuff that looks really simple. Like you do like you check someone's punch, and you check their punch, and then you move in, you put your elbow in, you grab their neck, you pull them in, you block like this, and you like do that, and like it looks so simple. The coach does it, and he's just like, and you're like, that's really easy, and then you try it, and it's fucking difficult, and there's a lot more detail to it than you realise. And it's amazing to watch someone who's good at it. But yeah, I got when we were doing it yesterday, I got into my own head, and then sometimes it's happened when I'm there, and I start thinking, oh, I'm fucking everything up, I'm being so annoying, and then as soon as I have that thought, it's like, I'm done. It's just not. It's like you know, in the social setting, you're around some new people and you're like, oh, I'm fucking bombing here, like this is awkward, and as soon as you have that thought, it's the most awkward situation ever. Or it doesn't happen as much now, but with like speaking Spanish to people, as soon as I think like, oh, I'm fucking this up, then the situation's over, like there's no going back. And that's kind of what happened the other day. I was like, this is going badly again, and then super awkward. I kind of would rather not train with him. There's this mad like lanky autistic guy there, and I kind of like training with him. He's quite intense. Sometimes you have to like worry about his punches. He gets pretty close, and there was one we were having to kick in like the inner thigh, and I was like, I really don't want to train with him because he's going to kick me in the balls, I just know it. And he's super intense and high energy, and he always does this, like in between moves, he like rubs his head really weirdly. I don't understand what he's doing. Like he'll be like rub his head, And he only does it when he's fighting. It's really weird. Anyway, yeah, it's been good. I like going. It gets me out of the house. Yeah, it'd be nice to... be nice sometimes to not always be like the weird, foreign person who only 70% understands what's going on and what people are saying. So after a while, sometimes you get a bit like, like I miss being. I mean, I get to do it like on here, for example. It's probably why I like doing this. Part of it is because like I don't get to like express myself that much in daily life, fully, and that would be cool, like to have some. Well, I say it would be cool to have some mates, and then I think about it, and I'm like, oh, it sounds fucking awful. It sounds annoying, So I don't know. It's good anyway most of the time. Yeah. I get on pretty well with people, but it's kind of a strange time at the moment. I think because we're like, sort of preparing to have kids fairly soon and stuff, and like get settled down into adult life. It's a weird transitional phase, and there's some part of me. It's like, man, I used to be like crazy, and like I used to do all this crazy stuff. Like, I used to be nuts, man. Like, there was a couple of years here in Spain where I just was never sober and was always doing wild shit. And like, I was a mess. I was kind of an embarrassment, but like, in a way, it's kind of a cool lifestyle. Like, just like, sort of like a drifter, really, and just never. It was all about the moment, just always in the moment. I think I realised recently that's why. I think that's the main thing that I like about drugs and get out of them. Some people, it's the opposite. I've known people, they wanted to be out of the moment, and that's why they took drugs. I had a friend, it was kind of sad, he used to like when he'd take pills, he would deliberately take too many pills and stuff, so that he would get all like fucked up and couldn't think straight and couldn't talk. And he sort of preferred it like that, it seemed, and it was a bit weird, because I never wanted to be out of it like that. I still wanted to be like in the moment, And I think that's what I like I think that's what I miss about when me and my girlfriend used to do these like long binges of taking speed and stuff. You're like locked in, not literally in the apartment, but like you're locked into the moment for 3 days. You're like, you know what you're doing, you know where you are, and you have a purpose, which is like to feel good and to like kind of express yourself, I guess, to feel a certain way, to express yourself via your own feelings. Like, it's not just about outwardly expressing yourself, but it's like you connect with something and you kind of you become like a lightning rod or something. And I think I miss that component of it. I don't miss all the other weird shit and the bad feelings. And when you're on drugs a lot, I think you become bizarrely tolerant of like feeling terrible, and it becomes normal, like to just feel like pure shit quite often, like on come downs and crashes and stuff. And when you're sober, I don't know, that doesn't really happen. There's not many times where you feel like, like you almost wish you weren't alive. Like, it doesn't really happen much when you're sober. But when you're on drugs, it's quite frequent. There are things you experience and moments you go through that are so unpleasant, and I don't miss that. I don't miss feeling sort of kind of like sort of vulnerable all the time and all of that, but I miss some of it. And I think like, well, I'm not going to be able to do it when I've got kids, But I think maybe that's the wrong attitude. I don't know, to be honest. What I need really is to like have a week or so of sleeping well and sort my head out a bit. I think we're gonna do some 5-MAPB soon. We're doing like an NAC. We're taking NAC to build up to it, like supplementing with it, because I don't know if you know about like people taking NAC to bring the magic back. I found it in the past to be very effective when you don't get a buzz anymore from like empathogens. I think from other drugs as well. But NAC, if you take it for a few weeks beforehand and then stop, it can often help. And we're doing that, and then we're going to have like a nice sesh, not like a weird dirty one where we're on speed, but like a nice one. And I think that might snap me out of it, because there's part of me was going, why don't we skip the 5-MAPB and I'll just order some fucking methadone or something? And it feels almost like the devil's tapping me on the shoulder, do you know what I mean? And I'm like, I feel like I'm trying to like fight these different ideas, and I think what I need is to sleep well for a week, to have this nice sesh, do some 5-MAPB, have like a nice time, not a weird dirty time, not a fiendish one, just like good time, and then take it from there, see how I feel. I can't think straight at the moment. My head's a bit of a mess. Things are busy and crazy. So, yeah. Oh, fucking hell, I'm tired, man. I'm tired, but I don't want to go to bed, That's the thing, because the more tired you get, the more you want, like, instant gratification, and going to bed isn't really instant gratification anymore. Not for our fucking broken 21st century brains, our smartphone brains. Anyway, alright, chaps. Laters.